Hello, beloveds. There's this really fascinating thing that happens with my work where whatever I am teaching on or speaking on, I'm asked and required to live it in my real life. So today we're in day 6 of the Embodied Woman Live Series. And our theme is compassion and self-compassion. So you better believe that today I was required to have self-compassion and compassion for another. And so if you're coming on, you can say hi. If you're catching the replay, I always love to hear and see your comments. And as you know, on Friday begins the Embodied Woman Program. It's my newest 6-month program for women. And it's a deep dive into deeper healing, into personal and professional and spiritual development. And what inspired this is because I feel like women are not necessarily fully embodied as feminine beings, living the true virtues that are our gifts as feminine beings. And we were raised in a masculine culture and a patriarchy, and as you can see in the world, there is so much war and discord and judgments, and it's creating, literally, we're on the brink of World War III, and it's so sad. And I know we're coming, and there's some of us already living it, we're coming into this new age of humanity where love is what guides, where it's not about war. It's about let's create harmony and let's be solution focused. And so it requires a different way of operating where we really lay our swords down and we disarm the heart and we really commit to harmony and love and compassion. And so yesterday I talked about love and ways of being love. And I was going to talk about harmony yesterday too, but I realized it makes more sense to talk about harmony today with compassion, because compassion is the key for harmony. Often the reason why we want to fight back or be right is because in the moment we take something personally. Whereas compassion is both a healing frequency, the way to truly heal. And I literally just had this deep realization about compassion while I was in Peru doing the dieta with Rose. And by the way, currently I'm doing a dieta with Bobenzana, which is a heart healer. It helps to clear traumas and wounds and pains. And so I'm quite the spiritual warrior deciding to host a 7-day live series where I have to show up. I gave you my word. I'm going to show up 7 days. But today was a hard one. And I had all of this coming up also because, not to get into so much personal detail, I will in the Embodied Woman Program, but not to the public. I was dealing with an interpersonal dynamic where the other person does not care about harmony, does not care about compassion, and was just downright mean, where I could feel it as a sensitive being, a hypersensitive being. I could feel it like daggers in my body. And no matter how much I came in compassion and love and gratitude, I was really met with a harsh energy that left me challenged for a big part of the day. It took all my spiritual practices, which I'll share with you. It took me swimming. It took all self-care and spiritual practices to then be able to get to a place today that I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go live. And even that, I had to have compassion for myself to know, Nikki Starr, you're human. Yeah, sure, you're a spiritual teacher and you guide others, but you're not expected to be perfect. And neither are you. And neither is anyone, right? No one's perfect. And the way we develop more compassion for ourselves and others is through our healing process. And it is one of the 4 agreements of not to take things personally. Whatever anyone does is not about us. It's always about them. And choosing to look at life through a compassionate lens, as I was saying, is so healing, and it's disarming. So what happens when there's a lot of discord and fight, this feeds entities, energies that are not supportive of love and growth and healing. They create chaos. They like fighting because it's an energy that they get to eat. So entities also create addiction, for example. Entities do a lot of things. And one thing is they like to fight. They like fighting. And when we are triggered, that's a time where they can come in. But as we do our personal development work and we become more embodied and more self-awareness, we're able to literally, so there's a lot of mosquitoes, so I might be itching a lot. That's the one thing about Ibiza that is its downfall. There's so many mosquitoes. So as we do our healing, our personal development work, we build a refractory period where we have self-awareness and we're able to come into our highest self. So when we're triggered, this is one of my biggest lessons with Rose, it was like, do not feed the triggers. If someone else is triggered, do not feed it, because what happens is it grows and it becomes this energy that starts to take over, and that creates pain and distortion in your field and their field. And so you end up hurting yourself. Like, it's literally spiritual warfare. Feeding the triggers is spiritual warfare. And so if you're like me and you are committed to the new earth, you are committed to harmony. And one of the virtues we're committed to is compassion. And we have to lead with that. We must. It's not even like you have to. It's like a responsibility. As light workers, we come on the planet to bring a different frequency. And so we must model it. Even in the face of the most challenging circumstance where someone could be completely disrespectful and mean and rude, it doesn't mean you have to take it. But it's like, don't feed the fire. And having compassion for the other person, like one phrase I really love that helps me disarm is when I say, I see the divine in you. I don't have to say it to them because that might trigger them more, but I say it within myself. And even when I'm doing my shamanic sessions or my energy healing work and someone has an entity, I meet it with loving compassion. And I say, I see the divine in you. Because that can disarm someone, right? If you fight fire with fire, it gets bigger. But if you fight fire with water, with compassion, it helps to put the fire down. But it takes a high level of mastery to do this. And mostly we have to heal. I don't like to use the word have to, but what I'm saying is more, it's like our responsibility to heal our personal traumas. Because for whatever reason, we magnetize someone into our life who is a master teacher to show us the places where there may still be discord and disharmony and fighting within our fields. And the way we overcome it is to really meet it in compassion. And part of that is seeing this person is in pain, that's why they want to hurt me. This person has trauma, and that's why they're trying to create trauma. And sometimes they succeed. Sometimes we're not strong enough. I truly believe that love is the strongest frequency, but it takes time to develop that muscle. And so I share a lot of energy practices that I just received within the past few years. They weren't in my Ultimate Woman program. It's a completely new curriculum inside of the Embodied Women Program. And a lot of these practices that I learned, it's almost like our Jedi ninja practices to really strengthen our energetic field and understand energy hygiene in a better way, and how we can be loved and protected more, not so much from a space of shielding, but from a space of being the strongest energy. And this is where the mastery is. It's actually not masterful so much to be like block, 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 block. This is kind of like scapegoating. It's like, brush it under the rug. I don't want to see it. Don't show me. But if we're coming at it with like, I am love and I am compassion and I can disarm and transmute any energy in my field, no matter what is presenting to me, because I am the strongest frequency, that's going to be a completely different experience. And then this is how just our presence becomes healing. And that's part of our work, right? And so for me, I feel like a lot of where I've been tested is I need to put what I teach into practice. So of course, today on the day of compassion, I'm given a really challenging relational dynamic and literally feeling like there's daggers in my body. And I could have met it with anger and the same way I was being met with. But instead, I was like, I am love. This person is a master teacher for me. And I responded in gratitude. I responded in, I wish for harmony. I stated the frequencies. And as much as possible, I was using my energy protocols to clear the energies and to show up in a different frequency so that I didn't match their frequency. But what we see in society, because even now we see the wars, is people want to, I'm more powerful than you. It's like these power dynamics, which then create war. But that's not the new earth. This is not like whose muscles are bigger than the other person. This is not about like I can yell louder than you or I'm more powerful than you. I'm going to do, this is not that. We're coming out of that age. And as feminine leaders co-creating the new earth, as you become a more embodied woman, this is what mastery is. You are powerful when you can be gentle and you can be compassionate, not only for yourself or others. And so let's talk about being compassionate with ourselves. So I tend to work with a lot of people and women who are like type A perfectionists, because I was one of those, you know, as a medical doctor. I held myself to such a high standard. And I never realized that I had the inner critic that was like, why did you do that? You shouldn't have done that. And always seeking perfection. And on some level, when I didn't meet myself at that level that I really felt was like the best, it's like I felt badly within myself because I didn't show up perfectly. And then over time, through this work, through my work, the work that I share with others, I started to soften for myself. And instead of meeting, and it's funny because it's perfectly timed with my podcast that was released on Thursday, episode 57, where I talk about energy healing and self-compassion with one of my energy healers, Emma. And it was funny because before I met Emma, I just thought like, oh yeah, you know, compassion, which I still believe in, it's still a part of self-compassion, is when I just hold myself like I am a divine mother and I'm like the baby. And it's like, it's okay. Not saying don't cry. Don't cry. It's like, no, that's not the vibe of self-compassion. It's like, I'm going to just hold myself here. I'm going to allow myself to feel these feelings. I'm going to let it be okay that I don't feel good right now. And that's okay. And the reason why this is so important is because in order to release things, we need to feel them. And a big part of everyone's personal healing journey is all of those trapped emotions and all of those things that you've suppressed. And like, you're like, I'm not going to feel this now. I'm not going to cry now. I'm going to be strong. Every time you did that, it's like you put a little piece of baggage somewhere in your body. And over time that accumulates and you create blockages that don't allow for your healing to happen, don't allow for your energy and your light to flow. It's almost like over time you're kind of dirty. We need to clean all of that, clear all of that. And that's a lot of the work we're going to do inside the Embodied Women Program, is clear, heal all of those unprocessed emotions. And I'm going to take you through processes to help you process those emotions. You need to get them out to radiate more of your light. And so and I'm going to be posting a reel later today, because now it's live on YouTube. So on Thursday, I always release my audio podcast, and then on Mondays, the video version of the podcast is released on my YouTube channel. And so in that clip that I'm going to post later, we talk about the other aspects of what self-compassion are too, a piece of it, because there's more stuff inside the episode. And essentially, part of it is just the acknowledgement of like, I'm having a hard time, I'm sad, I'm feeling depressed or contracted or whatever you're feeling. And then the piece that I said, it's like holding yourself like you are the person you love the most in the world, like this is how I'm feeling, and just like honoring it. And then it's, okay, what can I do to help myself feel better? And so for me today, I went for a swim, I did my different energy protocols, I laid, I meditated, I did my Bobenzana, all these different things, right? And eventually I came to a place where I felt better. Do I feel like 100%? No. But that's okay. Healing is a process. And there's that Trevor Hall song of like, you can't rush your healing. Darkness has its teachings, And I love that because it's so true. I was literally in meditation after it in the deepest gratitude of like, thank you that all of this is coming up, like, because it's so rare that I have that experience. And then to have it, it's like, this is another layer that's clearing. Thank you, right? And so there's another part of self-compassion too that's about acknowledging that everyone experiences challenges in life. You're not bad or less than or a failure or anything. And so this is why it's so important to have that peace and self-compassion too, because if you make yourself wrong, you shame yourself for feeling badly or not feeling happy all the time or whatever, it compounds and it like makes it worse. Whereas if you just accepted it and loved yourself through it, you'll feel it, you'll heal it, and then it's like, okay, right? And then eventually it will pass. This too shall pass. And so I'm really excited it's like I'm excited, proud, but I also feel like really grounded and humble and grateful for my journey. Especially these past few years, I've gone through some crazy, dismantling, challenging times and completely changed my life again, right? Moving from Malibu to Ibiza, and had all kinds of experiences where I feel like I've gained a deeper level of wisdom. And I deepened in my healing process in a way that I never imagined. Like, in Malibu, I felt like I was in this ivory tower, like I had arrived, like I wasn't triggered, everything was going perfectly, and like, it was like, okay, let me move. And then it was like in new environments, in new relationships, in new experiences, it was like a whole other layer opened up. And I'm grateful for it because it brought me to new healing modalities, new ways of embodiment. Like, I'm a softer, better woman for it. My heart has completely broken open. Like, I'm more loving, I'm more compassionate, I'm softer, I'm more forgiving. And forgiving is tomorrow's topic. And so I feel really grateful that I can share this work. And I feel like this is the work that all women on the planet can do if you want to be more embodied, more facing life from this lens that creates harmony within yourself and others, and also allows you to live in a more feminine way, like not the rushing and the hustling and all of that. Like, we're done with that paradigm. It's really about living heart-led, intuitive-led, feminine-led, and it's healing for the whole world. This work that you'll do is not only for yourself, but it's for the planet. And so I invite you to reach out to me. We start on Friday. There's going to be a bonus opening solstice ritual. And yeah, message me, inbox me, let's chat. And I look forward to connecting with you and having you inside the Embodied Women Program. Big kiss to you. And I'll see you tomorrow for day 7. Bye for now.